When it comes to philosophical discussions, sometimes it can be frustrating for believers not to see any standards coming from atheists for the existence of a God or other supernatural things. I see that atheists can have more reasons not to believe in a God, and that's why I'm gonna talk about the ones who focuses on evidence. Some of them discuss with believers and ask evidence for the existence of a God, and they are never convinced. When the believer becomes exhausted, the question comes, what kind of evidence is convincing for you? The answer is, if your God exists, he must know how to convince me. That means if there is a God and if God doesn't care about them specifically, then there is no way to believe a God exists. God must actively try to convince them. Sometimes believers are not able to recognize the mindset of the opponent and they waste a lot of time to convince those atheists. Let me give an example. Imagine something has appeared in the sky. It's so big that half of the planet can see it directly, and all can hear it says, "I'm the God that you were speculating about. Here I am. Only 100 years left for you. Follow these instructions." And papers coming from the sky, there are 50 rules on it. And those atheists can say, how do you know that it wasn't a hologram created by us humans, or maybe aliens or even time travelers? They can be right, but as you can see, even such a big example isn't enough for them. I'm not judging atheists who cannot believe in any God with all sorts of evidence. My problem is when they believe in other things with the same amount of evidence. Anything can be rejected by the same excuses. Some people have lower standards and they believe through some amount of evidence. Some require more and some of them cannot be convinced by any amount of evidence. As I said before, some of them they don't focus on evidence that much. I think it's better for believers to ask the reason at the beginning of a discussion, why they don't believe. If the answer is lack of evidence, then you can ask their standards. If they provide, then you can check if you have such amount of evidence. Then the discussion won't be a waste of time for you. Believers also shouldn't be prejudgmental about atheists. Some of you think that they're blind and their hearts are sealed. You can be wrong about this. Whatever the evidence you have may not be sufficient for them, and that doesn't mean they cannot be convinced. I know many of them who can be convinced with the example that I've given. That's all for now. I hope this video helped you in your future discussions. Please subscribe for more tips. Take care and stay curious.